Creighton picks up a massive senior day win over number 5 Marquette. They blitz the Golden Eagles 89-75, pulled away late behind a couple of seniors. Tom, walk me through your impression. You've seen a lot of special moments in this building, but for Baylor Shireman and for Francisco Farabello to do what they did in that moment on that stage was pretty special.
It was scripted in a way. Creighton can't lose this game. It was too many special guys on that floor who have meant so much the last 4 or 5 years. But boy, Marquette made it nervous. They had their top 2 guys out. They came to play anyway. They weren't worried about having guys out. So they made them nervous, but you're right. There was some cool showmanship at the end.
Yeah.
And of course, it had to be threes. But I loved how Kalkbrenner played, too. He kind of had an exclamation point dunk at the end.
Had the block at the end,
He had
too.
the block. It was called it was called a goaltend, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. In any case, it was probably a block. But anyway, special day, special crowd. A lot of people, a good 10,000 or so, stayed after for the speeches. As usual, nobody does senior day like Creighton.
Yeah. I want to talk about the game itself a little bit.
Yep.
We found out right before tip-off that Marquette was going to roll into Omaha. We already knew likely without Tyler Kolek, last year's Big East Player of the Year, their star point guard who slashes defenses on a nightly basis.
Right.
Then we find out that they're also going to be without big man Oso Ighodaro,
Right.
who was dealing with an illness.
Right.
Marquette did not fold. And that was one of the most shocking things to me. Maybe not as a result that I expected Marquette to just lay over.
Yeah.
But how well they executed their plan and threw Creighton out of theirs in the first half.
Yeah, and they were able to because you plan for a big guy and then not showing up.
Yep.
So you've got to adjust. They got the kind of program where they're champion, the heart of a champion. They're going to fight, and they did, and they just didn't have enough. But these two will probably see each other very likely on Friday night in New York City.
Friday night in the Garden.
You'll be there.
That's a date.
Yeah. I'll be watching.
All right, now you've got something in the works. I've got something in the works on Baylor Shireman and Francisco Farabello.
Well,
but just this senior class, you could tell how much it meant to this program.
Yes.
Through their videos, what they said in them, what they said in their speeches, and then the reception they got both when they checked out and during the senior day festivities.
It's just such a, like I said, like I'm writing about for tomorrow, these are strange times for senior days because of the extra COVID year and the transfer portal. We used to be senior classes came up all together, including Creighton's. 4 years ago, they Zagorowski, Mitch Ballack, Damian Jefferson group all came up together. These guys usually come up together and go out together. Now, Ron Kalkbrenner was a 4-year guy. You had a pair of 2-year guys, Shireman and Farabello, with transfers. They're here for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you had the 1-year senior, Ashworth, who didn't go through senior days today for his reasons. But then Trey Alexander is a 3rd-year junior who probably isn't coming back. A lot of people expect him to try to go NBA. You never know. But you could also have, because of the COVID year, Kalkbrenner and Ashworth could come back. So it's hard to know who's staying, who's coming, who's going, what it all means. Well, I'll tell you what it means. The people in this senior class meant the world to this program.
Correct.
It was one of the most important senior classes, however it was made up, in the program history. If you count Kalkbrenner's first year as a freshman, 2 Sweet 16s, an Elite 8. They set the bar high, so high that, I think if they don't make the Sweet 16 this year, there's going to be some disappointment. But that's what you want. You want the bar to be high. You want to feel like this is where we belong. So they did that as part of their legacy here.
Yeah, I think I had 3 takeaways right after the game. One of them was that this team has learned to close games out.
Yeah.
I think back to the Villanova game in the Big East opener.
Right.
They were up late, squandered it.
Right.
I think back to kind of the Butler game. They've had some along the way. The triple overtime at Seton Hall, the St. John's one here in Omaha. but we've seen them consistently close games out today.
Yes.
What's one of your biggest takeaways from today, if it's not that?
Most of the game, I thought they looked gassed. I thought they were just, they missed a lot of the open shots. And then but they rallied. They dug in and got it done.
Few whistles didn't help.
Right. But I'm just thinking, this is going forward. That's going to be a theme, and they might. They had basically this week off to rest their legs, but then you might have 2 or 3 games in the Garden on back-to-back nights, and then here we go into the tournament. So, how much can that bench help? We saw a little bit of it today. Green is out there. Farabello obviously is going to help, but you just think at some point, how many shots can they make in that tournament, based on their legs and just how tired they are. So, but today they weren't going to let this one slip away, and they didn't. And it was, like I said, another great senior day.
Yeah, we've got some time off. The Jays do as well. They'll be back in action next Saturday at Villanova to close out the regular season before heading to the Garden for the Big East.
You'll be going. I'll be your first one.
I'll be at the Garden. I was there for the St. John's one. It was a doozy and a dandy, and I ate too much pizza.
Well, you never have too much pizza, but especially New York pizza, you fold it over. It's like this thing. It's awesome. But the Garden, and especially the Big East is so wide open.
Yep.
It's.
It is every year, the Big East tournament.
But it just seems deeper this year, and it just seems, even though it's been UConn's league, that you wouldn't be surprised if somebody came up and got him. So, but Marquette's going to need their everybody on deck to beat UConn. But Creighton's going to have to hit a lot of shots. Yeah. But St. John's, they might be one of those teams that gets on a roll on their home court.
I was about to say, especially at home.
Yeah.
I think that's going to wrap things up from the CHI Health Center. For Tom Shatel, I'm John Walker, Omaha World-Herald.